Kunle was just 10 years old when his life shattered, like a mirror dropped on a concrete floor. One rainy evening in Lagos, the car carrying his parents swerved off the expressway and slammed into a divider. The news came in a whisper, then a scream, and then a long silence that seemed to stretch across the rest of his childhood. His parents had been everything: his anchor, his joy, his world. His mother, elegant and full of laughter, used to tuck him in every night with a kiss on his forehead. His father, a well-respected businessman, often said Kunle would one day take over his empire. But all of that ended in one phone call. He was left an orphan overnight. The days that followed blurred into one another. He remembered the black clothes, the wailing, the smell of incense at the funeral. He didn't fully understand death at the time, but he understood loss. And he felt it in his bones. After the burial, a family meeting was held. The elders spoke in hushed voices, glancing at him occasionally, like he was a responsibility nobody wanted. His father's only sister, Auntie Ronki, eventually agreed to take him in. She lived in Ikeja and had 2 children of her own. She didn't smile when she said yes. "Let him finish in the same school," one uncle insisted. His parents would have wanted that. Kunle moved into Auntie Ronki's house the following week. From the outside, it looked like a warm, home-painted walls, flowers in the front garden, a dog that barked at strangers. But inside, the warmth never reached him. His cousins treated him like an outsider, and Auntie Ronki, she made no effort to hide her resentment. She fed him, clothed him, and paid his school fees, but never with kindness. Her words were always sharp, her affection absent. Every chore became his, every mistake magnified. If he cried too long or laughed too loud, he was reminded that he was lucky to even have a roof over your head. The only escape Kunle had was his grandmother, Mama Titi, who lived in a small village in Ogun State. During school holidays, he would travel to the village, and the moment he stepped off the bus, his heart would soften. Mama Titi's home smelled of jollof, rice, palm oil, and peace. She would hug him so tight he could barely breathe, and whisper prayers over him every night. "My son, you are destined for greatness," she'd say, rubbing his head. "Your parents are watching over you." Her house was small, 2 rooms and a kitchen, but it was filled with love. In the mornings, Kunle would help her fetch water, chase chickens, and roast corn by the roadside. They would sit under the mango tree, and she would tell him stories about his father as a boy, about how love and resilience can survive anything. It was in the village that he smiled the most. There, he wasn't the orphan. He was Kunle's boy with a bright smile and big dreams. At school, he did his best to stay invisible. He studied hard, kept to himself, and learned to navigate the cold walls of his auntie's house. He missed his parents more with each passing year, and sometimes, when the night was too quiet, he'd cry into his pillow-soft sobs that he buried deep, like secrets. One day, when he was 16, he overheard Auntie Ronki speaking on the phone. "I didn't ask for this boy," she said. "They pushed him on me. He's not mine." That night, Kunle sat alone in the dark corner of the compound, staring up at the stars. He remembered his mother's voice telling him bedtime stories. He remembered his father's laugh and the way he'd ruffle his hair. He remembered the crash, the funeral, the loneliness. And he made a silent promise to himself. "I will survive this. I will become something. I will prove to them that I was worth loving." What Kunle didn't know then was that real love was waiting for him in the most unexpected place. And when it came, it would challenge everything he believed about fate, forgiveness, and healing. But for now, he sat under the stars, his heart split between 2 world zones that neglected him and one that held him close. And somewhere in the middle of it all, a boy quietly grew into a man. At 24, Kunle had done what many thought impossible for a boy who once had nothing but loss. He had finished university with top grades, secured a well-paying job in Lagos, and was preparing to relocate to the UK with his girlfriend, Viola. They had been together for years, both smart, educated, and ambitious. She had dual citizenship, a British passport, and dreams that reached across oceans. It all made sense. Everyone expected the next step, marriage. And Kunle was readier, so he thought. That Christmas, he felt something stir within him, a longing he hadn't felt in years, a need to breathe different air, to escape Lagos traffic, and the expectations piling on his back. So he returned to the village where his heart had once found peace. The journey was long, but the moment he stepped off the bus and saw the dusty roads, the rustling trees, and the familiar walls of Mama Titi's house, something inside him exhaled. "My son!" she called out, opening her arms. He laughed, dropping his bags to hug her tight. "I missed you, Mama." "You need this rest. Lagos has squeezed all the fat out of you," she teased, holding his face in her hands. But what Kunle didn't expect what would change, everything was Simi. He first saw her outside the village, her laughter rising above the splashing water as she helped her younger cousins carry their basins. She wore a faded wrapper and a top tied behind her neck, her natural hair pinned up, face bare and glowing. There was nothing flashy about her bit, something about the way she moved, the way she smiled, pulled Kunle in like gravity. "Who is she?" he asked Mama Titi later. "That's Simi. Her mother sells fabrics near the old market. Good girl. Quiet, helpful, smart too, even though she didn't go far in school." He nodded, saying nothing, but from that moment, her name lingered in his mind, like a melody he couldn't forget. They kept bumping into each other in the market, at community events, by the stream. One afternoon, after helping her carry firewood, he said, "You should let me take you out for palm wine one day." She smiled, amused. "Are you not the big city man? You don't drink from village calabashes." "I drink from anywhere good things are served." She laughed, shaking her head. "I'm not looking for anything. Let's just be friends." "Fine," he said. "Friends then." But Kunle knew he was lying to himself. They started spending time together, walking under mango trees, cooking yam by the fire, joking about village gossip. It was simple, it was pure, and it was dangerous. Viola called sometimes, excited about their UK plans, flights to book, documents to finalize. He answered her calls with a guilty voice, always glancing over his shoulder like someone who had something to hide. Because he did. The more time he spent with Simi, the more Lagos began to feel like someone else's life. With her, he could breathe. She didn't care about passports or prestige. She didn't ask what car he drove or how much he earned. She saw him, the boy who had once lost everything and was still learning how to carry love. New Year's Eve came, and the village came alive with drums, firecrackers, and dancing. Children ran barefoot. The women cooked in open pots, and men drank palm wine until they sang old Yoruba songs under their breath. Simi wore a green lace wrapper and a white blouse that shimmered under the moonlight. Kunle couldn't take his eyes off her. That night, after the dancing and laughter faded, they walked together in silence under the stars. "I'm leaving tomorrow," he said. "I know," she replied. "I don't want to. You have a life waiting for you in Lagos. And someone." "I had a plan," he said slowly. "But now I'm not sure. You've changed something." "Don't say that," she whispered. "Don't say things you can't take back." He stopped walking and turned to face her. "I mean it." She looked at him, eyes soft but guarded. "I told you from the beginning, I didn't want to fall." "Too late," he whispered. They stood in silence for a while, the weight of their feelings suspended between them like heavy fog. And then, beneath the old mango tree behind his grandmother's house, Kunle kissed her for the first time. That night, their friendship crossed into something deeper, something sacred. It was her first time, and he was careful, slow, reverent. It wasn't about lust. It was about hearts unlocking, about secrets shared through touch and breath. When they lay in silence afterward, wrapped in each other's arms, Simi turned to him. "Promise me something. Anything. Don't forget me when you leave." He brushed a tear from her cheek. "I won't leave you, I swear." And in that moment, Kunle meant it. But morning always comes. And with it, the past and all its unfinished business. Kunle left the village the morning after New Year's, the golden sun barely rising over the horizon. He kissed Simi on the forehead before slipping quietly out of Mama Titi's compound. She was still wrapped in sleep, the bedsheet tangled around her like a memory he wasn't ready to let go of. He didn't want to leave. But reality never waits for the heart to catch up. On the bus back to Lagos, he sat by the window, watching the fields roll by, head leaning against the glass. He didn't think about Biola, not the life they were building, not the papers, not the plans. All he could see was Simi's smile, hear her laughter as they roasted corn under the stars, feel her hand resting gently in his. That village Christmas had shifted something inside him, woken up a softness he thought life had stolen. But soft things, he reminded himself, rarely survive in Lagos. 2 days after his return, Kunle sat Biola down in their flat. "I need to tell you something," he said, avoiding her eyes. She paused, sensing the shift in his voice. "In the village, I messed up. I slept with someone." Silence. Biola stared at him, her expression unreadable. Her British accent clipped through the air like glass. Was it a mistake or a choice? "A choice," he admitted quietly. She stood, walked to the window, and stared out at the street for what felt like forever. Then she turned back to him and said the last thing he expected. "Let's just move on." You're not angry?" "Oh, I'm angry," she said. "But we've built too much to throw it all away over a village fling. We're relocating. Let's just keep moving forward." And so they did. 3 months later, Kunle and Biola arrived in the UK. Their paperwork finalized, their plans back on track. The wedding came quickly, quiet, efficient, practical. Then the children followed. First, a daughter, then a son. To the outside world, they looked like the perfect family. But inside, something remained unsettled. Kunle tried. He was a good father, a supportive husband. He worked hard, paid the bills, played with the kids. But he was never fully present. Something was always missing. A part of him still left in the village under that mango tree with a girl who had asked for nothing but honesty. He thought about Simi more than he cared to admit. Her face would flash in his mind when he heard certain songs. Her laughter echoed in his dreams on cold winter nights. But he had no way of finding her. His grandmother, Mama Titi, had fallen ill the year after he left and passed quietly in her sleep. Kunle never saw her again.